Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie, with a coffee. Cheers. Okay, so I've got a couple of rants today. So my first rant is our ex-leader, Boris Johnson, or as I like to call him, Bunter Johnson. Because the thing is, I noticed on Sky News, so I'm going to show you, why do people call him Boris? First of all, because it's like a familiarity, isn't it? We've never called a prime minister by a first name. It's like, it just, he's a clown and it suggests he's a clown, but calling him by his first name, that's not something that we do with prime ministers. So that, again, that's, for me, what I miss most in politics at the moment is the gravitas, the taking it seriously. I don't like this populism, like calling the prime minister Boris. And no offense, but look at the state of him. This is a prime minister. He was the leader of our country. He always looks like he's just going to start laughing. I'm sure he's a great guy to go out with, for a drink. I don't mean go out with in a romantic way. Oh my God. I don't understand what women see in him, but women do like him. So, he's certainly, had enough children to prove it. So, yeah. Now let's have a look. So these are the key moments from his inquiry, from the Boris Johnson inquiry. Look, I mean, he doesn't take anything seriously. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about anything. He's been brought up to a life of privilege. And you know what? That's the other thing. I just want to see the back of this family. This family, they're like the second royal family in Britain. You've got, his brother has been given a peerage, so his brother is a lord. He tried to give his father a peerage, who's a wife beater. And his sister's going round whinging at everybody that this is some sort of show trial, like it's some sort of show trial. When, not taking seriously how people aggrieved people feel, for genuine reasons, because people lost loved ones who are never coming back, and they don't like the way he dealt with things. Anyway, so the key moments, I think it's a video by the look of it.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
See, that's just hilarious in itself. He swears to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But we know that. How do you know when Boris Johnson is lying? Is basically when his lips are moving, because he's lied to his wives, he's lied to the country, lied to the Queen. He doesn't know how to tell the truth. That means nothing.
Can I just say how glad I am to be at this inquiry, and how sorry I am for the pain and the loss and the suffering.
Sit down,
of
please stop.
COVID victims.
Yeah, so he started to apologise. So protesters were there. These will be people who have lost loved ones. And I think I've told you before about a friend of mine whose sister had Down syndrome. And while they were all partying in Downing Street, my friend's sister was dying alone in hospital. Nobody could go and see her. People don't forget those kind of things. That's not like, oh, well, the price of cheese has gone up, or what. These are people's lives. These are their loved ones, and these are things that they can never get back. So he started apologising at the COVID inquiry, and then protesters came in, and they were probably arrested, because you're not allowed to protest against it. Probably Peter Folding's protest removal team that took them out.
Please sit down. Please sit down, or I'm afraid you'll have to leave the hearing room. I'm sorry, if you don't sit down, I'm going to ask the ushers to get you to leave. Right, ushers, please, could you ask them to leave?
And why can't we hear what they're saying? You know, has that been censored? I mean, do you know, why can't we hear what the protesters are actually saying?
Could I say, by your leave, that I understand the feelings of these victims and their families, and I am deeply sorry for the pain and the loss and the suffering of those victims and their families.
Because
yeah, they don't want to know what he's got to say.
It had been trailed beforehand over the weekend that he was going to apologise or attempt to apologise. And that's why we decided we were going to make it clear that we weren't prepared to accept that. So as soon as he started, we stood up with our signs.
We were very quiet, very dignified. We've been here lots of times. We always remain quiet. But it's very difficult to hear an apology from somebody who doesn't mean it. And so as I was leaving, I said, I don't accept your apology.
Not at all. I don't believe it for one moment. I think it's empty apologies. It's him just trying to make himself look good for whatever reason, but actually the apology is meaningless.
Do you know why your phone was missing those 5,000 odd WhatsApps?
I don't.
Oh, so his phone's missing 5,000 WhatsApp messages. Wonder what happened to them. I bet there's loads of WhatsApp messages missing off his phone. I bet Carrie checks his phone every night because God knows what he's up to. You know, he's never been faithful to a woman in his life, so he's not going to start now, is he? And it was funny because I noticed on Twitter, Enquiry, which it was the woman from America, that he had an affair with, and I'm not sure if he had a child with her because nothing's ever clear cut, is it, with this guy? She tweeted that I've got a team who can retrieve WhatsApp messages. So, you know, because she hates him now because she had a brief fling with him when he was in America. He siphoned off some money from London from the council, didn't he, to give to her. Gave her a contract for something in exchange for a pole dance, by the sound of it. And but then he just sort of, you know, dropped her. Of course, then he became prime minister and everything. He didn't want to be reminded of what he'd done. So he just, like, when I say dropped her, they weren't having any relationship by then. But he just refused to answer her messages and stuff. So she's a little bit maybe like a woman scorned. But even so, there's always some truth, isn't there?
I don't know the exact reason, but it looks as though it's something to do with the app going down, and then.
Oh, of course, the app went down. That's why all those WhatsApp messages disappeared. Oh my God! You know, it just thinks everybody's an idiot.
Coming up again, but somehow not automatically erasing all the things between that date.
Can you believe this was our Prime Minister? So this was our Prime Minister, our representative on the world stage. Now, no wonder we haven't got any place on the world stage anymore.
When it went down, and the moment when it was last backed up. So I can't give you the technical explanation, but that's the best I'm able to get. The scenes from Italy really rattled me, and it was. I thought, I remember seeing
He can't get a sentence out because he's trying to think about what he's supposed to be saying because he's lying. He is lying. He wouldn't even know the truth, the difference between the truth and a lie, because, you know, he's just all for himself and fun and everything. We should never have been Prime Minister. He should never have been Prime Minister. Prime Minister, goodness me, even Snaky Sunak's better than him, and I don't like him either, to be honest.
A note somewhere saying that the fatality rate in Italy was 8%. Because they had an elderly population. I thought, well, my God, we've got an elderly population. This is appalling. And this can't be. And I thought my instinct was this cannot possibly be right. You know, this number. I mean, you know, just so you know, I look at all this stuff in which we seem so oblivious with horror now. I mean, we should have have twigged. We should collectively have twigged.
Yeah,
Much
none
sooner.
of you were clever
I should
enough.
have twigged.
Now, I don't think he's necessarily I think he's just totally the wrong person to be Prime Minister. I think he will feel hurt by that because he likes to be popular. And towards the end of his, with his stint in Number 10, people were booing him a lot, weren't they? There were a lot of boos. And he won't like that, people shouting murder at him and that. I think he will feel bad about that. And I'm glad he feels bad for a little bit because he has to appreciate, he can't just live in his ivory tower. He has to appreciate how people felt and how his actions affected people. Like those ladies that spoke earlier about their loved ones. And I don't know if you noticed, they were all different. Let's see if I can go back to it. They were all different ages of the victims. I noticed one of them was holding up a picture of a boy who was only 15. Oh, it probably take too long to find it. Whoops, because my ribbon fell down again. So he has to take that on board because he was the Prime Minister. Now, if you don't want the responsibility, don't be Prime Minister. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, he wanted to be Prime Minister. He wanted all the good things about being Prime Minister. But being Prime Minister isn't all good. There are things that you have to face up to. So that's Boris Johnson. He's my twonk of the day. He probably end up being the twonk of the year when I do. But probably at the end of the year, before New Year, I'll probably do a twonk of the year competition, or twonkets, of course, of the year. Okay, so then the other thing, just let me make sure that's still up there. The other thing I wanted to tell you about or talk to you about, now this is interesting, I think. Now, I don't know if you know who this guy is. He's not perhaps the best known politician, but this is Robert Jenrick, who's the immigration minister. He probably should be better well known than he is because obviously immigration is a hot topic. He's very sort of close to Cruella Braverman, and he has resigned. He resigned yesterday, and we had there were rumours going round that he'd resigned. And James Cleverly, who has replaced Cruella, of course, he was giving a talk about Rwanda. That's a whole, Rwanda, forget Rwanda. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. The only people that have gone to Rwanda so far are lots of bloody conservative politicians. We've spent fortunes. Britain's spent fortunes, given the Rwandan government fortunes. Cruella went over there. James Cleverly's been over. Everybody's going over there except the immigrants. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And the thing is, even if they do get it working, this is the thing that I think everybody forgets. They can only take 500 in a year, 500 immigrants a year. That's not even going to be a dent in the immigrants that are coming in, or they say all these immigrants are coming in. Well, what difference is sending 500 of them to Rwanda going to make? Not much, and it costs a fortune. And I still think my idea is a good one of using some abandoned buildings, abandoned hotels, spending some of that money, prisons, etc., doing them up a bit, getting the immigrants in there so that they've just got a safe place to go to. It doesn't have to be a luxury hotel or whatever, and it is, people have to remember, it is the government that are putting them in the hotel. It's not the immigrants checking themselves into the hotels. They're just going where they're sent. They're not coming over and saying, I think I'll stay at that hotel, or, I stayed there last week, I'm going to go to this one this week. They're going where they're sent. So it's the government that are sending them there. So whatever you think about immigration or don't think, it's up to the government to control it. So why don't they open up these abandoned prisons or abandoned hotels or abandoned buildings? How many abandoned buildings are there? There's got to be a better way. Rwanda's not going to work. They use Rwanda because they think that'll be that's like a dramatic solution that people think, oh, that's it, we're dealing with it. But if people really knew that it's only going to take 500 people a year anyway, maybe they won't think it was a good thing. So we've got James Cleverly now replacing Cruella. James Cleverly, who said that it was a batshit idea, when it first came out. So he's having to defend an idea that he's already said many times was batshit. I feel a bit sorry for him, actually, because he had his lovely cushy foreign minister role where he was going all around the world and chatting to people. Now David Cameron's come back like Bobby Ewing in Dallas, and he's taken over that nice job, and he's left with this job, which is difficult, horrible, and you can tell that he's not enjoying it. But anyway, getting back to Robert Jenrick, he's resigned. This is a huge thing in the Tory party. So it may not affect you and your life, and a lot of people probably didn't even know who it was, but it's a big thing in the Tory party, because the Tory party is just imploding. It's completely imploding, and who'll suffer for that is the country, because they can't get anything. They can't get any. Even he suffered his first defeat the other day, Rishi Sunak. Richie, I was called Rishi, trying to put a motion through and couldn't get it through his own, he's got a massive majority still, and he could not get the bill through. The other thing that you may not know that has been put through, or that they're proposing to put through, is anybody who's on a pension or any kind of benefits, the government can go into your bank account and look at your bank account. That's what they're trying to bring in. If you're on a pension or any kind of benefits, they want to look at your bank account. I'd like to look at Rishi Sunak's bank account, see where his money comes from. And, how dare they pick again on vulnerable people that are on benefits or pensions, and go into their bank account. What they're going to do, take their last tenner out, because oh God, it makes me so angry. So watch that, because that'll be coming in if this government stays. Let's have a look at this idiot.
Nice to see you.
Hasn't it?
Thanks. Nice to see you. Have a good evening.
Why did you resign, sir?
Robert, just one this way. All right. Nice to see you all. Thanks very much.
Nice to see you all. Are you convinced that Mr. Cleverly's plan won't work? Do you think the Prime Minister will be able to stop the boats, Mr. Jenrick? Can you tell us a bit about why you resigned, sir?
Oh, nice to see you. Nice to see you. He obviously didn't want to talk about why he resigned. Okay, now I just want to show you. So let's have a look at his resignation letter. So, dear Prime Minister, God, Rishi, I tell you what, the wagons are circling around Rishi. He's not going to be there for much longer. It is with great sadness that I write to tender my resignation as Minister for Immigration. I cannot continue in my position when I have such strong disagreements with the direction of the government's policy on immigration. So I have been pushing for the strongest possible piece of emergency legislation to ensure that under the Rwanda policy, we remove as many small boat arrivals as swiftly as possible, 500 a year, to generate the greatest deterrent effect. And that is the only thing that maybe it may stop people coming, because they won't want to go to Rwanda. That's a possibility. This stems from my firmly held position that the small boats crisis is a national emergency that is doing untold damage to our country. And the only way we will be able to stop the boats completely is by urgently introducing a major new deterrent. I'm surprised they haven't got a machine gun up at Dover. I have therefore consistently advocated for a clear piece of legislation that severely limits the opportunities for domestic and foreign courts to block or undermine the effectiveness of the policy. One of the great advantages of our unwritten constitution is the unfettered power of our sovereign parliament to create law, and that's a power we must take advantage of. Yeah, Britain's constitution, the constitution is like, you know, the laws by which a country runs. Like in America, they've got a written constitution because America is quite a new country. So when America was sort of became independent, they wrote a constitution, a set of laws. And they've sort of been bound by that because one of those laws was that every man, and presumably now woman, should have the right to bear arms. And that's why they have so many problems trying to deal with guns, you know, and legislating against guns, because written in the Constitution is this stipulation that people must have the right to bear arms. So it's very difficult to change. However, in Britain, we don't have a written constitution. Our constitution is sort of made up of all different things, but there's nothing actually written down, which means that laws can be changed. And this is what he's saying. He thinks there needs to be some fundamental change in the law, changing our constitution in a way, in our very constitution of our country. And that's going to be popular with a lot of people. So I think, you know, at the end of the day, the Tory party there, because the Reform Party, of course, is becoming more and more popular. And a lot of people that voted Conservative are going over to the Reform Party as well, which is all good, I suppose, for Keir Starmer and the other parties, because they don't care how, they just want to win an election. They don't care whether it's because people vote for them or they go off and vote for the Reform Party. So little Rishi, little fishy on a little dishy, he's in trouble again. And it really, I just can't, I just don't know what's going to happen, because that is a massive thing. Now, I did want to show, there was, I was looking at a video of, let's have a look. So, James Cleverly, he was in the, you know, in the Houses of Parliament making a statement, and all these rumours had gone round about Robert's Jenrick's resignation, and Yvette Cooper, who I think is very good, and it's not just because I do, you know, probably am more on the socialist side. I think she is very good, and let's have a look what she had to say.
In the Conservative Party. This is the desperate, dying days of a party ripping itself apart, clearly totally out of ideas, lost any sense of leadership or direction. We've got the Home Secretary making the statement, but the rumours that the Immigration Minister making the statement, but the rumours that the Secretary making the leadership or direction.
Look at their face. James Cleverly, honest to God, I'm so disappointed in him, because out of all of them, I thought he was better than the others, but he obviously isn't. Rishi is just like, to me, he's just like not a nice person. Just doesn't look like a nice person. Whereas I thought James was, but he's, at the end of the day, that's his job. What's he going to do? You know, stick your job like he's. You know, I do feel sorry for him though. He was enjoying that other job he was doing that David Cameron's now doing.
We've got the Home Secretary making the statement, but the rumours that the Immigration Minister has resigned. Well, where is he? Perhaps that he can make that the first question that he answers, whether he still has an Immigration minister in place. They've got open warfare among their backbenches, the starting gun fired on the next leadership election, and once again, the whole country paying the price for this chaos. The third Home Secretary to go to Rwanda with a checkbook and to come back waving a piece of paper, making grand promises. The third piece of new Tory legislation.
Yeah, so 3 Home Secretaries have been to Rwanda, but still no immigrants have actually been to Rwanda.
On channel crossings in 2 years. Each time they've told us the new laws would stop all the boat crossings and send everyone who arrived to another country. But the first law they had to partially revoke because it was making things worse. The second one they haven't implemented because they know it won't work. And now they're on their third new law. Forgive us for not believing that this one's going to solve anything either. But the previous Home Secretary seems to agree with us because she's already saying tonight the bill is fatally flawed. It won't stop the boats.
So this is the big problem they've got, that Cruella, you know, because she's hoping to be leader. She is hoping to be leader. She's got her eye on that. So she has come out again. You know, they're not the Conservative Party normally do all band together, even, you know, but they're not. And she is going to stir it up big time.
There you have it. One side of the party warning it doesn't come close to meeting Suella's test. The other side appalled that the Home Secretary, who used to wander around the world promoting international law, has just boasted in his statement about a new British bill that tells the courts not just to ignore international law, but to also ignore the facts. What kind of party have they become?
Yeah, so there you go. I just wanted to, you know, I like a bit of politics. I'm sorry, I hope I haven't bored you. That's my rant of the day. Boris Johnson, twonk of the day. Just in case you hadn't realised that this immigration minister has resigned, that's going to have a big, big impact on the Conservative Party, even though he might be someone you've never even heard of. I think that was what Jess Phillips tweeted this morning. Like, you know, most people will be waking up this morning to the news that Robert Jenrick has resigned and thinking, who's Robert Jenrick? But there you go. So watch this space. There'll be a lot more drama, I'm sure. Maybe not, you know, unfortunately Christmas coming up, so that they you know, they have their holidays at Christmas, but we'll see what happens in January. I think Suella will definitely be plotting a leadership campaign. So yeah, I find it all fascinating. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but I just thought I'd let you know that's my rant of the day. Twonk of the day, Boris Johnson. And Robert Jenrick, what will he do now? I wonder, will he join the Reform Party? Or will he go? I wonder if he's going to join up now with Suella. You know, and they're going to really start sort of undermining Rishi, little Rishi on a fishy, on a little dishy. They're going to undermine him even more. I hope so. Okay, so remember to live and love very wisely and very carefully. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God always go with you. Bye.